Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm excited to do this Q&A video. I don't know if I've done one ever. I'd have to look back, but it's definitely long overdue. And the timing is just perfect because I realized yesterday actually that I've been on YouTube for 1 year, like almost exactly to the day. June 19th of last year was when I started, and that was when I published my first video, which was a trip to the south of France. A lot has happened in that 1 year, a lot of growth, a lot of challenges, a lot of all the things. If there's anything that I've really come to enjoy, it's creating YouTube videos and having a wonderful community like this one here. So I really appreciate you following along on this journey. It's been amazing. I sent out a question box on Instagram earlier in the week and you guys had some great questions. So grab your coffee, grab your wine, depending on what time it is over there, and let's get started.
Oh, and just so you know, I'm sharing an announcement at the end that I think you'll love, but no pressure. There are chapters, so feel free to skip around if you need to.
Got my coffee, iced coffee. All right, so I've got them on my phone here, hence the glasses. Can't read without them. Okay, so we'll start with the basics. Where are you from? So I have the short version and then there's the long version of where I'm from. I'm gonna give you the in-between version. I was born and raised in Europe and Africa because of my dad's job. So we moved every 2 to 3 years. I was born in England, then we moved to Iceland, Senegal, Mauritius, Italy, and France. And then we moved to the US, and that's when I started college. So yeah, I definitely had quite the unique and unusual upbringing. But that being said, I wouldn't trade it for anything else. I was exposed to so many cultures at a young age that I really think shaped who I am today. I spent my formative years in Milan and Paris. So basically my high school years were there. Those had, I think, a significant impact in sort of shaping my identity. My dad's family is French. I have a lot of French family that are living in Paris, and also my grandparents lived in Corsica. I return to Paris often to see my family, but also for work and for pleasure. So I am closest to my French side. And I grew up speaking French and English. I'm named after a famous Turkish pop singer named Ajda NYC. She's basically like Madonna over there. Still looks great, still sings great. She's in her 70s or 80s maybe. I do have a couple of family members in Turkey as well, and I used to go there in the summers when we were living in Europe because it was a lot closer back then. I've been in New York for about 6 years now. I've actually not lived anywhere longer than 6 years in my life. I was in Virginia in college for 4 years, moved up to the DC area for 6 years, San Francisco for 6 years, and now we've been here 6 years. Soon that will become 7 years and 8 years. That will feel very strange to me, but I'm also really excited to be living here in New York because it is the perfect place for internationals. I mean, everywhere you go, you hear all sorts of languages, you're exposed to all different cultures in one place. So if there's anywhere for me to like settle down and build some roots, New York is definitely the place. So really excited to live here and feel very fortunate. If you want to learn more about the third culture kid life, because that's basically what we're called, third culture kids. My friend Minnie and I did sort of like a little chat Q&A about third culture kid living and what that was like. So definitely check it out. I will link it up here for you to watch. Okay, we're gonna go with the juicy one here. Do you have kids? No, we don't have kids at this time. We're basically what you would consider like dual income, no kids. I don't know, dinks. I thought that term was always interesting. It doesn't sound great. We have a fur baby, Sienna, who has made a regular appearance on YouTube, sometimes on Instagram as well. She is definitely our firstborn. Fortunately, we have really good benefits and I was able to freeze my eggs and we have embryos now. Modern medicine is absolutely amazing. If you can freeze your eggs and you're in your 30s, even if you're in your 20s, do it. Like, I think it's a great insurance policy. It gives you so many more options. You don't have this biological clock ticking. It's allowed us to really just kind of enjoy and work hard on the things that we love. And when that time comes, it'll come. Next question. How long have you been doing content creation? It started when I was living in San Francisco, actually. I had a blog. It was called Leap Into Lovely. On Instagram, if you keep scrolling to the bottom, you'll see all of the Leap Into Lovely posts that I had back in the day. So it's still the same profile, I just changed the handle. I really wanted to have a creative outlet at the time, and blogging was just emerging, I think. I really loved to style outfits and would post them on the blog. Taking photos, not an issue, but like the writing part, like the long form writing, it was hard for me to keep up with that at the pace that you need to in order to have a successful blog. I couldn't keep up with it with the work schedule that I had. And also, to be honest, I was trying to figure out what direction I was going with it, and I really couldn't come up with something. I'm glad I did it because I'm sure I needed to go through that in order to be where I am now. But yeah, that blog doesn't exist anymore. I took it down, but I kept Instagram going. So for a couple of years, that's all it was. It was just Instagram. Then I stumbled upon YouTube last year, and that's when things really turned around for me. My father had passed away about 1.5 years ago. And so last year, I really wanted to take a step and think about what is it that I really want to do, because you only get one life. Even if it's not your full-time job, you should be doing things that you really, really are passionate about. And fashion for me has always been that, especially luxury handbags. And so I started a YouTube channel, and it was a little daunting at first because you're watching me, this is kind of scary. But I took some lessons from my corporate job. I would do a lot of on-demand webinars. So you would film ahead of time, and if you made mistakes, you could say cut, or you could pause, 3, 2, 1, start again. You could edit it out, you could restart, all of that. So having gone through that made me realize, hey, maybe doing YouTube isn't actually as hard, and it's something that I could just get used to doing. Obviously it takes practice, but I decided, why not? Give it a go. And so, yeah, I started with the trip to the south of France. There's something nostalgic and just lovely about being able to document it all and being able to show it to loved ones and share it with others around the world. It's nice to be able to do something like that. And so that also motivated me to continue. But then the talking head videos, that was the hardest part. So one of you asked me, I'm so shy, how did you get the courage to film content? Honestly, you just have to start. You're gonna fumble along the way. The great thing is that when you're starting, you don't have any subscribers, you don't have any followers. This is your time to just film videos, publish them, and then keep doing that until you start getting into a rhythm and you find your voice and you find what you're looking for. You don't have a large audience yet, so that is an opportunity for you to make mistakes, and some of your videos will be cringe, but it's totally worth it in the end, and you just keep getting better and you start to get more comfortable each time. I always picture my favorite person in front of me as I talk to you all, or my best friend, or someone who just really understands me. We share the same interests, we get along. When you do that, it feels more natural. So that's what I recommend doing for anyone who is starting or considering starting a YouTube channel. You will not regret starting a YouTube channel, I can tell you that much. But you might always wonder, do I wish I had started a YouTube channel? So food for thought. Where or when did your love for handbags start? Good one. My affinity for artistry and some of these larger brands like Prada, Chanel, Louis Vuitton, etc. That started when I was living in Milan and Paris. Those are obviously the fashion capitals of the world outside of, well, I guess New York, London, Tokyo, etc. But Milan and Paris definitely shaped my love and the appreciation for the craft and the designers. These pieces to me are forms and works of art. I started my collection in my mid-20s or so. I use the term collection loosely because it was never my intention to build a collection. I'm not necessarily a collector. I firmly believe you should use the things that you have, and if I had too many, I wouldn't use all of them. So I have had handbags come and go throughout the years, and I think I have now finally settled on the bags that represent who I am at this stage in life, and I'm sure my taste will continue to evolve over time. Chanel was definitely the first brand that caught my heart. I had the coup de foudre. My first purchase was a Chanel handbag. It was from the Rue Cambon flagship store. It was a navy blue handbag. It wasn't a classic flap. It was a what they call a graphic flap. I wanted something that wasn't something that everyone else had. That was my goal with a lot of these pieces. I want something unique. And I wasn't quite thinking about like the practicality of it. I did use that handbag for quite some time. I really did love it, but I started to learn a little bit more about my lifestyle. For example, I'm not comfortable with lambskin as much as I thought I would be. I don't like to baby my bags. I have a few like delicate pieces, but most of my handbags are ones that I can wear without worrying. Anyway, that's where my love for handbags started, and basically in my mid-20s I was able to save up and start buying bags. Next question, let's see. Will you do a handbag collection video? I've debated on and off whether I want to do a handbag collection video. I feel a little bit weird doing one. I know that a lot of people do those, and obviously there's the pretext of like, hey, I'm not doing this to brag, I just want to show you in case you're interested, you know, in learning about these bags. And I think for me, it's just not kind of like my vibe. However, I do, for example, share like the top 5 bags in my rotation, or the ones that I'm absolutely loving right now, or a specific handbag review. I don't have a large collection, but I'm not one to really like put them all together, and I don't know, it's just not my style. I hope you understand where I'm going with that. But if you ever have questions on particular handbags, or if you want to know what are some of my favorite evening bags or some of my favorite, you know, everyday bags, I'm happy to share the ones that, you know, that I use that I think would be great for your everyday needs.
Future me here, hi. I was in the middle of editing this week's vlog, and I realized I had a couple of questions around my current favorite bag. The other one was, can you tell us more about the Prada bag that you paired with your birthday outfit? And so, because they're both related, I thought I'd quickly answer them here as well. So this is the bag in question, this Prada bag. So there is a story behind this one, actually. We got this in 2023. We went to Europe in the summer for my husband's birthday. So we went to Ibiza, Corsica, and then Paris. That was the shopping part of the trip. I was looking for the Clio, the black satin Clio with the silver crystals. So I walked into Prada on the Rue Saint-Honoré boutique. And as I was explaining what I wanted, the sales associate said, well, you know, we did just get a new color that in the back, and I don't think it's going to be released in the US. I'm not sure. It's a limited edition. So he asked me if I wanted to see it. And I said, sure, why not? And he also mentioned it was a neutral color, so that also piqued my interest. So as soon as he brought this one out, I was like, done, sold, this is it. So I'm gonna bring it up closely. I don't know if the color is going to come out because there's a little bit of a warm light in here, but this is basically a blush. It's like a blush neutral. It's not a strong pink, it's not gold, it's not silver, it's just blush, and the crystals are also a blush pink. I absolutely love this bag, and I think the sales associate was right. I have not seen this color anywhere in the US. I haven't seen anyone wear it, and if I go on the website now, I don't see it available either. I think the closest one that will give you a similar look is the gold one that they have. There's like a goldish one that has, I think, the blush crystals on it. So it gives a very, very similar look, but it has gold hardware on it instead of silver. But yeah, that is the story behind this bag. I thought it was very appropriate as a result to wear it on my 40th birthday, since I got it on my husband's 40th birthday. I use this bag mostly in the spring and summertime, and also during the holiday season. I feel like those are the best times to bring her out. And so, yeah, now that we're back in spring, summer, can't wait to wear her again.
All right, next question. You don't look 40. What's your secret? Thank you. I don't actually know if it's bad to look 40. I think everyone should embrace their age and how they look at that time. Every wrinkle, every blemish, every whatever it is, it tells your story, and I think it's unique to who you are. So you should celebrate it no matter what. I have good genes, I will say that. I do think, however, some of the lifestyle choices that I've made have also contributed to having good skin. For example, I never really grew up wearing much makeup. I never really wanted to wear foundation or concealers or things like that. I just felt like I just didn't like stuff on my face. So I know that there can be a tendency to start wearing makeup at an early age, like even in high school, but I never really did. And even to this day, like I really don't wear foundation unless I'm going to an event or I'm filming something that requires, you guys to be very close to me. Otherwise, I just wear tinted moisturizer. And even like back in the day, I didn't wear tinted moisturizer because it didn't exist yet. So now I'm aging myself by saying that. So I never really wore much makeup. And I think that actually did help. I think the other thing that has helped me is that back in 2018, my husband and I watched a Netflix documentary that kind of horrified us, and we decided, okay, we can't eat animals anymore. So we went vegan, and I definitely noticed a huge change. I wasn't feeling puffy anymore, and my skin was just clearer. I had less blemishes. And then a couple of years ago, we found out that I had celiac disease. So that required a further adjustment. So now I had to find things that didn't have gluten in them. I did introduce fish into my diet so I could have more protein. And from time to time, I will have dairy and eggs, but it's rare. It's not like an everyday thing. Like at home, we still very much eat a gluten-free vegan diet. We even make our own almond milk. And then when we go out, I'll eat gluten-free and maybe have some fish, maybe have some cheese, etc. So yeah, I think that's helped my skin even more and helped my body and my metabolism and everything just a little bit more. So yeah, what you eat matters. How you treat your body matters. And then genetics is the other factor, which again, I know I'm blessed with good genes. So there you have it. Okay. Do you regret any of your bag purchases? Ooh, that's a good one. I think regret's a strong word. I learned that, over time, a lot of the bag purchases that I made were based on what I thought I wanted or like my fantasy self, and didn't end up working out for the lifestyle that I had at the time. So I think that's one thing to be aware of is when you're considering making a purchase, not just for bags, but for anything. Does this suit my lifestyle now? It can be very easy to just fall into the excitement of a purchase and like, oh, I could wear it here, I could wear it there, or I picture myself wearing this on Lake Como with a sip of Aperol Spritz and all of that, right? So like you can see that happening. There was a bag that I had that I bought from Valentino. I remember seeing it at Nordstrom, and it was Very pretty. It was this blush pink with these floral lace embroidered details. It was a piece of art in my opinion. And again, no one else had something like that. I think it was a limited edition or part of like a summer collection, something like that. I loved it, but I had nowhere to wear it. It was almost too unique of a bag. And so I think that's one example of where like I was purchasing it for my fantasy self or just for like the pure aesthetics of it. I thought it was really pretty, but I wasn't considering it for my wardrobe or my lifestyle. So those would probably be any of like the purchases that I wouldn't recommend making now, but it's almost like I had to make that purchase to really understand that. So it's not like a regret, but it's definitely a lesson for me in how I just became more mindful over time of the purchases that I made, if that makes any sense. And that actually folds into the next question very nicely, which is advice for someone starting their bag collection, please. So yeah, start by making like a wish list. I think that a wish list keeps you accountable. It keeps you from making impulsive purchases. I know I've been guilty of making impulsive purchases before, and I can't say that I never do that now, but at least I am more aware of my style now so that impulse purchases aren't as damaging to my bank account. But I would say that, yeah, start by making a wish list. Like if you see a bag and you think you want it, wait a couple of months, especially if it's if it's like a classic collection that will be around for a while. If it's not a limited edition piece, you can wait just a little bit. I know that everyone's worried about price increases and things like that. Just wait 2-3 months. If it's still on your mind, if it's still something that you absolutely want and you've saved money for it, then go ahead and go for it. I would suggest starting with the basics, like a work tote or a bag, because I find that work bags, they need to be like your workhorse. They need to be able to last a really long time. They need to be really good quality, and aesthetics, at work, I personally think matter because you want to show up well. I wouldn't suggest going for a lot of logos though. I personally don't like the Louis Vuitton Neverfull for work. I don't think it's necessarily I don't want something that's too showy. The quiet luxury options I think are actually more suited to the workplace. So for example, I have my Celine Cabas tote, which I wear all the time to work. It's actually I think I've been using that the most for work for 10 years almost. Gosh, yeah. And now I don't go to the office every day, but it is my main bag that I will still use. And it's just very clean. It's very simple. It's very minimal, but if you know, you know. So that's what I would suggest for work is if you know type of bags. Have a everyday bag that can house your basic essentials and then some, but isn't as large as a bag that carries a laptop. So the Celine box bag or YSL Lulu bag. I actually really do like that one as well. Let's see what else. Bottega Veneta makes really good everyday bags as well. Like the hop bag or the small Jody, I think is a good size as well. So those are just some examples of bags. You could also get the Louis Vuitton Pochette Métisse. I do have that, and I do have just the traditional one. So that one I do enjoy as just an everyday bag as well. And then you're gonna want an evening bag. So something that you would wear at night to go out on the town or to a special occasion. For that, I like a small classic flap from Chanel, or the Clio bag I think is really pretty. What else? I also have a Bottega Veneta bag that's the small loop bag. So yeah, I think if you have the work, the everyday, and then the evening bag, just those 3 types of bags you should start with your collection. And also stick to neutral colors, because neutral colors are easy to pair with neutral or colorful outfits. I find that colorful bags are harder to pair with colorful outfits. You might have a lot of clashes, or you might not be able to wear that bag with every outfit, so to speak. So that's just my suggestion. Neutral colors, pick a work bag, pick an everyday bag, and pick an evening bag. Okay. You and your hubby are so sweet. How long have you been married? Where did you meet? Thank you. So my husband is Adam. We met in San Francisco in 2013. So a while ago. Yeah, almost 12 years ago. I had just moved to San Francisco from DC. I didn't know anyone. I just had one friend from college that lived there, but that was it. And so I joined an international networking group called Internations. I made a good friend who happened to be a neighbor. And then 3 months later, he decided, hey, I'm going to take some friends out to a bar crawl in North Beach. Why don't you do the same? We'll bring all of our friends together, and just another way to make friends, more people. So, and yeah, he brought Adam, who we had met at a bar crawl, I guess a month or two prior. So yeah, we met at a bar the traditional way, and then we started dating, and yeah, the rest is history. We have now been married. It will be 9 years in October. We got married in Sonoma, just outside of San Francisco in wine country. It was very special. We really enjoyed our time in San Francisco, but I think we were also both just really happy to have the opportunity to move to New York. And we both just really love New York life. So yeah, I rarely see 40-year-old content creators. A compliment, by the way. Thank you. I too don't see as many content creators above the age of 30. I think there needs to be more 40, 50, 60. I mean, we all grow up. We all continue to learn. So yeah, I would love to see more in this age range as well. But anyway, is this full-time or do you have a 9 to 5? Okay, so yeah, this is not full-time. I do have a 9 to 5, a corporate job. I am in product marketing. I'm in the tech industry. I've been doing product marketing, I would say, for about 10 years now. I did demand generation marketing, and then I was an analyst, like a research analyst prior to that. I majored in international business and marketing and French. It took a couple of years to end up finally doing what I majored in. I do get the opportunity to travel a lot for work. Well, not as much now post-COVID, but prior, definitely. I still get to travel a little bit here and there. I love to be able to like travel back to France and present at conferences there. But yeah, most of my product marketing work has been around messaging and positioning products, enabling sales teams on products as well, and how to position them with customers. I think like the fun parts of my work are like producing videos or demos or presenting them. I think that's the part that I enjoy the most. And of course, meeting customers and hearing how they use our products and what they need to solve for and things like that. But yeah, it's been mostly in B2B tech. How do you balance your 9 to 5 and content creation? It's actually not been as hard now. It took a little while to get into a groove, especially since I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do with content creation. Back when I lived in San Francisco, I would take outfit photos in the morning of what I was wearing to work before I went into the office. So I would just leave a little earlier and I'd be able to do that. And then on the weekends is when I actually wrote what I wanted to write about the outfit, and then I would post it. Nowadays, I would say that like a lot of my work happens either really early in the mornings or after work hours and during the weekend. The parts that take the longest are actually editing YouTube videos. I'm trying to develop a system that is faster, and I'm also trying to not be as much of a perfectionist, because I know that can be why things take so long. There is beauty in the imperfect as well. So trying to embrace that. But yeah, balancing it's gotten a lot better over time. And I finally figured out a routine and rhythm. And so I'm able to keep up with it and hopefully do some more with it. LTK or ShopMy? So good question. LTK, for those of you that don't know, is Like to Know It. So it's an affiliate program where creators can share some of their favorite outfits, favorite products with followers. And so when followers click on the item to purchase it, the creator can get a commission off of that purchase. There's no cost to the consumer. The commission comes from the brand itself. So it's a good way for brands to promote their product and also for influencers to make a little income. I do have an LTK shop, if you will. Do they call it a shop? Account. So you could subscribe and follow me on the app. A lot of my Instagram posts, actually, you'll see like comment shop to receive the link in your DMs. It's a great way to just get all the links right in your DMs instead of having to go hunt for it out on the internet. But again, you can also subscribe to me on LTK or to your favorite influencers, and every time they upload like a new post, you'll receive an alert as well to check it out. ShopMy is newer. They're also an affiliate program. I tend to use LTK to share my outfits, and then ShopMy to share sort of like my edits or things that I've been eyeing recently or what's in my closet or things like that. So I use them more as like shelves. There is actually a shelves format that you can use. I mean, LTK has been around for a lot longer. More people are familiar with it. A lot more brands are on it in terms of like a network. So if you're just starting out as a creator, to get onto LTK is advantageous because a lot of brands work with LTK, a lot. That being said, ShopMy is easier to use, in my opinion, both as a consumer navigating it and as a creator. And it is aesthetically just more pleasing. Commissions are better. There are more brands joining every day. In terms of how I use them, LTK I use for outfits, and ShopMy I use for like collections or things that I'm eyeing, that I'm coveting. So I will link to both of those in the description box below, just so you can, well, I would love for you to follow everything that I post on those, but also just to give you an idea of how I use them in case you're also looking for just like an example of how you might use them as well. All right. I'm going to Paris for the first time in August. Tips and recos. First of all, that is amazing. I am so excited for you. You're going to absolutely love it. I get excited whenever someone is telling me that they're going to Paris for the first time because I just can already anticipate like the joy that you'll receive like as soon as you touch ground and start walking around and like all the buildings and all the architecture and the stores and the restaurants, the food, the culture, the everything. Can you tell? So yeah, what would I recommend? It depends on what you're interested in. I did do a 10 days in Paris vlog last year. I didn't go in August. I went in November. So it was definitely more fall oriented / it was actually right before the holiday season was really hitting. But you'll see some of the neighborhoods that are my favorites. So Le Marais, definitely for like quintessential cobblestone streets, unique boutiques and stores, vintage shopping, the best vintage shopping, and the most concentrated center of vintage stores are there. So absolutely you must go there. I love the Saint-Germain neighborhood in the left bank. I find that it's really just peaceful. It's less crowded from like a touristy perspective. And they have really good like cafes and restaurants. It's very good for people watching. There are some boutiques as well. You can do some shopping there. Le Bon Marché, which is one of the larger luxury department stores, is there as well. And I prefer to go there for when I know I'm actually going to be buying something than to like Galeries Lafayette or Printemps that is in the right bank in the Opéra neighborhood. And the reason I say that is just because it's gorgeous to be in there, just to look around, especially Galeries Lafayette. Like it is absolutely stunning just for its architecture, but it is so touristy and it can be hard to like navigate. They're much larger and you can honestly find all of the same items there at Le Bon Marché in the left bank. So if you want to be able to have like more of like a quick in and out, like go to Le Bon Marché. If you want to go for the experience, for like just the gorgeous atmosphere and the buildings and all of that, then go to the other two department stores for sure. So related to that, Opéra and Saint-Honoré, those are also really good areas to walk around, especially for shopping. A lot of the luxury boutiques are all along Saint-Honoré as well. So you can definitely like soak it all in. It's gorgeous, it's beautiful. Place Vendôme is there where all of the jewelry makers and brands like high-end are all there. Palais Royal, you've probably seen on Instagram photos. It's like where all like those pillars with the black and white stripes are. Café Kitsune is there. There's like a beautiful row of trees and like park area that's there that's very quiet. It's like a really nice morning spot to go to as well. So yeah, those are kind of like all the areas that I personally love. I do also like to go to the 16th arrondissement. It is more residential. It's not necessarily a lot of commercial activity there, but it is very beautiful. It has beautiful streets. The buildings are really pretty. Rue de Passy is one of the shopping areas that I do go back to because I lived so close to it when I lived in high school. And you'll have like the local shops. You'll have like the Couples, Jimmy Fairley. You'll also have Zara. You'll also have Claudie Pierlot. You'll have like so many other different like shops, like boutiques there. But then you'll also have like the local butcher and the cafe that you always go to in the mornings, your local pharmacy. Check out the pharmacy there. It's actually a very big one, and they have all of the good skincare products as well. So yeah, those would be the neighborhoods. I know I said a lot, but check out the vlog. You'll see all of that, actually, most of those in the vlog as well. I hope you have an amazing time and that you report back on what your favorite part of Paris was. I'm really excited to hear about it. Okay. I can't afford real luxury, but love the quiet luxury aesthetic. Any brands you recommend? Yes. So there are some actually really good brands out there that are great quality that don't break the bank. So Demelier London is definitely one of them. I particularly love the Midi New York bag. Pollen Cafuné is also really good. There's Parisa Wang. There is Verified. That's another one. Freya or Freja. How do you pronounce that? It's with a J, but I think it's pronounced Freya. Oleada. I've done a couple of collaborations with Oleada before, and I really love their bags. They're, especially for work, they have really good work bags as well. So there are a number of them. I actually did a video on quiet luxury brands to know that feature even some brands that are like based in Italy that do sort of like made to order bags. Like they only produce it once you order it. They're trying to be sustainable as well. I would definitely check out that video because there are some really good ones, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna be well known at some point. Like especially right now with all this uncertainty around like tariffs and all that jazz and like luxury price increases, I feel like now is actually a really great time for these mid-range brands to make a splash. I feel like they're gonna soar in popularity. So definitely check that video out. If I stumble across any other bags that I really like from those brands, I always link them to my ShopMy as well. Okay, how tall, what size are you for reference? So I am 5'3", 5'3¼ I teeter between being officially petite versus not. But yeah, I'm 5'3", and I typically wear a size 2 or 4 in the US or like a 36 in France. I think that's a 38 in Italy. All these sizes, they're just so different from each other. So 36 EU or France, 2 to 4 in the US, and I'm a size 25 when it comes to like jeans, trousers, pants, and shoes. I am a 7.5 or a 38 in Europe. Okay, so last question. Oh, this is a good one. What are you most looking forward to in your 40s? Honestly, there's so much to look forward to. There used to be this stigma around turning 40 and, you know, growing old and all of that. And I think that so many great things are happening that allow us to do more. Women in particular, they're doing more with their lives as they get into their 40s, 50s, 60s. I feel like life is just beginning in some ways. Last year was really a year of self-discovery and really digging deep into like what I really want to do, especially when it comes to creating and building out my passions even further. I've actually been working on something behind the scenes for a little while now. So actually a couple of things. So the first one is I just launched my personal website. It's Ajda NYC. I wanted to aggregate all of the things that are on YouTube, on Instagram, on LTK, ShopMy, etc., and bring everything together in a central hub that I can communicate with you all more directly. So you'll find all the things that I'm loving these days. You'll see my YouTube videos there, as well as blog posts and other edits. So definitely like check it out. And the other thing that's even more exciting is that I've been working on this project that took a while to take shape, but I finally figured out what I wanted to do with it. And I will be launching Lignée, which is a curated vintage luxury marketplace. I'll be collaborating with top boutiques around the world that carry beautiful vintage items, and we'll be curating a selection of timeless pieces that all have a story worth carrying. Really, really excited to share all of what these boutiques have to offer from around the world, and also for these boutiques to have a larger audience and community to connect with. I've done a lot of shopping in my past overseas. There are some hidden gems in boutiques I didn't even know existed, and they're young and they're trying to get their name out and they may not have the resources. I am excited to take everything that I am in terms of being international, loving fashion, really understanding and appreciating the story behind each of these luxury brands and their designs, and connecting luxury vintage lovers together with the luxury vintage boutiques that are all over the world. I am certain that the items that we'll be bringing to you will be items that you all will love. Gorgeous handbags, gorgeous pieces. So if you love luxury as much as I do, which I think you do, otherwise you wouldn't be here, then I would love for you to join the waitlist. So if you go to ajda.nyc/la-lignée, which I will leave right here, you can join the waitlist so that you'll be the first to hear when our first collection drops in the fall. And secondly, I would love for you to follow along on Instagram at Lignée Luxe. I'll be sharing more on there as well. So very excited to have these come together. Thank you so much for all of your support. I'm not a large creator. I don't have tons of brand deals. I don't make tons of money off of this. But what you have given me in terms of support has actually been more than any of that. This entire year through this journey, I feel that I have learned so much. And all of the interactions that we've had on YouTube and on Instagram, everything that you've shared, all the stories, all the comments, all the likes, all the loves, everything, it has meant so much because it has given me direction. It has given me the inspiration that I needed to move forward to this next phase of my pursuits in my passions, and honestly, our passions. So I'm really excited to share it with you all. With that, I'm going to close out this video because it's getting long. So if you are new, thanks for sticking it out. I would love for you to subscribe to this YouTube channel and to follow along on La Lignée's journey ahead. And yeah, I will see you on the next one. Thank you so much. Bisous.